this is Dr. Do again. This video is outside of medicine. Continue the book of Isaiah. I have finished part of chapter 9. I'm going to continue to move on. I'm going to read it first. The Lord's anger against Israel. The Lord has sent a message against Jacob. It will fall on Israel. All the people will know it, Ephraim and the inhabitants of Samaria, who say with pride and arrogance of heart, the bricks have fallen down, but we will rebuild with dressed stone. The fig trees have been felled, but we will replace them with cedars. But the Lord has strengthened Rezin, foes against them, and has spurred their enemies on. Arameans from the east and the Philistines from the west have devoured Israel with open mouth. Yet for all this his anger is not turned away. His hand is still upraised. But the people have not returned to him who struck them, nor have they sought the Lord Almighty. So the Lord will cut off from Israel both head and tail, both palm branches and reed in the single day. The elders and the prominent men are the head, and the prophets who teach lies are the tail. Those who guide this people mislead them, and those who are guided are led astray. Therefore the Lord will take no pleasure in the young man, nor will he pity the fatherless and widows. For everyone is ungodly and wicked. Every mouth speaks vileness. Yet for all this his anger is not turned away, his hand is still upraised. Surely wickedness burns like a fire, it consumes briefer and thorns, it sets the forest thickets ablaze, so that it rolls upward in a column of smoke. By the wrath of the Lord Almighty, the land will be scorched. The people will be fuel for the fire. No one will spare his brother. On the right they will devour, but still be hungry. On the left they will eat, but not be satisfied. Each will feed on the flesh of his own offspring. Manasseh will feed on Ephraim, and Ephraim on Manasseh. Together they will turn against Judah. Yet for all this his anger is not turned away. His hand is still upraised. So this is about chapter 9, and I'm going to continue some part of chapter 10. Chapter 10. Woe to those who make unjust laws, to those who issue oppressive decrees, to deprive the poor of their rights, and withhold justice from the oppressed of my people, making widows their prey, and robbing the fatherless. What will you do on the day of reckoning, when disaster comes from afar? To whom will you run for help? Where will you leave your riches? Nothing will remain but to cringe among the captives, or fall among the slain. Yet for all this his anger is not turned away. His hand is still upraised. God's judgment on Assyria. Woe to the Assyria, the rod of my anger, in whose hand is the club of my wrath. I send him against the godless nation. I dispatch him against the people who anger me, to seize, loot, and snatch plunder, and to trample them down like a mad in the streets. But this is not what he intends. This is not what he has in mind. His purpose is to destroy, to put an end to many nations. Are not my commanders all kings, he says? Has not Calno fared like Carchemish? Is not Hamath like Arpad, or Samaria like Damascus? As my hand seized the kingdoms of the idols, kingdoms whose images excelled those of Jerusalem and Samaria, shall I not deal with Jerusalem and her image, as I dealt with Samaria and her idols? So I'm going to stop here and move on next time. So this is about the chapter 9, part of chapter 9 and part of chapter 10. So The Lord's anger against Israel is the title. It's very obvious that God is not happy with them. The Lord has sent a message against Jacob. I will fall on it. It will fall on Israel. All the people will know it. So from Ephraim and the inhabitants of Samaria, and also for those because the arrogance, because of the pride, this has been occurring and mentioned so many times. The rebelling and stiff necks. That's the words I think they kind of use frequently in the Bible. It means not humble but arrogant, and so that's why they said the people said we do not care about the God. We can rebuild, even though the God will break the walls. We can rebuild it with the stone or the trees. We can plant something else. But the God was really angry. He said doing things and cast the curse. So this is and also sometimes use the other nations against this Israel, because the rebellion of Israel people, according to here, and the God will by the wrath of the Lord Almighty, the land will be scorched, and also the people will be fuel for the fire. No one will spare their the descendants of Jacob. And then this is talking about the Manasseh and Ephraim. So will be they will just live or clinch to each other, like a fight to each other. And also, woe to those who make unjust laws, to those who issue oppressive decrees, to deprive the poor of their rights. So this is not only the arrogant, also loss of justice and loss of passion to oppress the poor, to make the widows their prey, and make the poor people issue oppressive decrees, and deprive the poor of their rights, and also make the widow their prey. So this is ungodly behavior in the earth at that time. But at that time, this is from the book. I think if you recall what Solomon said, nothing is new under the sky. Everything occurred during the past, will occur in the future, or everything occurring now has happened before. So this oppress the widows and oppress the poor. It's not new. It's not just the past. It's everywhere, anytime. So this is about and then God's judgment on Assyria. Previously mentioned about Assyria. It's using the Assyria as Assyria, the Lord's instrument. So the God will use Assyria to revenge, to carry on His will. And now He said, God's judgment on Assyria, probably. So then, this vow to the Assyria, the rod of my anger. God is not just only angry with the previously, also because the instrument is not working as He hoped. Probably it's not follow the God's will. Anyway, so this is about a part of chapter 9 and chapter 10. I'm going to stop here and continue next time. Thank you for watching.